timer in a different time zone.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. It's crypto night in Canada. Yay! How's everybody tonight?
Excellent.
Tired.
Tired.
Fantastic.
Candace is fantastic. Tim Danter's Ken's tired. You're okay. Ryan, what are you?
I'm good.
Are you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Why are you good?
There's a special guest in my house. Okay.
Hey, everybody.
Nancy came to visit.
I came to visit.
And it's snowing here.
You want to tell him? You're a jerk. I told him not to say anything.
It was 22 degrees here today.
Oh yeah, it was hot.
sucks.
It was hot.
It was freaking hot today.
Yeah, and then someone had the bright idea to play a joke and put my heat in my seat on. I thought I was having a heart attack.
Oh man. Was it really that hot there? Are you just saying that because it's snowing here?
No, it was that hot here, right, Ken?
Yeah, I worked for 2 hours, then I took my hooded sweater off, and then I worked another 2 hours. I took my coveralls off, and I was walking around in jeans and t-shirt.
Oh, I was just about to say, at what hour mark did you get out of the truck though?
When did I get out of the truck? It was about 10. I don't know.
He got out after he opened the door. Otherwise, it hurts.
Yeah.
It's like a big clang.
I don't know. My brain's tired.
Oh, guess who's gonna get it tonight?
Man. Well, we got Bleak 784 in the house, and Sandra's here, and Marie Claude. How's everybody doing? Wanted to jump right into some topics tonight. There's been a lot going on as far as the inflation news, and then the Bank of Canada raised interest rates because they're trying to, tap down inflation. And, I think this is our 52nd episode. So I feel like that means it was a year ago this Wednesday that we started this live stream.
There's no fooling you, is there? Oh, you sneaky Pete, you can do math.
No, but if this is the 52nd live stream, that would make sense, I think.
Yeah, but in a leap year, how many are there?
Tim Danter, that's not helpful.
And if you use a Chinese calculator, what does it add up to?
But keep in mind, because there's 52 weeks in the year, on the 52nd show, you're a week from the 1 year anniversary. So technically, next week is your 1 year.
Okay, great.
God.
You can do something special with Tim.
This is like this really 7 o'clock, but it's 8 o'clock now because of the time change shit. And it's like, what?
And then don't even get me started. I have no idea what time I'm at here. Is this 8 o'clock, 6 o'clock? The sun's still out, but it's snowing, so you can't see anything really. So
yeah.
Does everybody want to talk about inflation? Yes, no, maybe so.
Let's rock.
I think it's blowing out of proportion.
Do you?
I think it's going up.
And you know what? I'm surprised. Correct me if I'm wrong. The US only went up 25. We went up 50. Now, does that mean that we took the bigger jump, that we're more aggressively and more serious about it?
No, the last meeting that Canada had was the exact same as America. They were at the exact same time. They went up a quarter point. We went up a quarter point. Their next meeting is in May. I believe ours is in June, and then they also have one in June. So Bank of Canada also said, I was reading on Bloomberg yesterday, a big thing that they were too slow acting on it. I think, if anything, could this be a precursor to what America's doing? I have no idea. But we did match their quarter point increase on their last increase. So this is the first heavy rate hike in 20 years, over 20 years.
So wait a minute. So since they started the rate hikes, how many basis points did the US go up? 50?
0.25, I believe.
Oh, is that all?
I think they've only had the one meeting. I could be wrong. I thought it was only
But we've gone up 0.75, no?
That's only because we had one extra meeting, and one of those meetings was a half a point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the question would be what's America going to do when they have their Fed meeting in May and June? If they mimic Canada, Well, I mean, this is the weird thing is like everything was up today. It was the weirdest thing to see. Like everything was up. I mean, my gold was up everything was up. Even the stuff that shouldn't have been up when others are up, we're up. It was the weirdest thing, but whatever. But the PPI data came out today, which is the producer. Sorry, guys, about my dog. He desperately wants to say hi to Nancy. The producer price index, the CPI data was like as expected. The PPI data was way more than expected. So that's not great because the producer numbers hit the consumer 60 days down the line, 30, 60 days down the line. So it's setting up for a really unfortunate June, really, because the China problem will really hit our shores in June because that's when shipping would have really landed here anyway, right? So it's like we've got a lot of things now, super high inflation now, and then the markets are rallying at the same time as we get negative data. It's the weirdest thing, but
none of this makes sense.
That's why I'm not getting it. I've been pulling profits on my favorite stock the other day. I don't know what's going on, dude.
I got some our North American trading and logistics data. I got some information. The April report came out and I thought it was worth sharing. So I'm just going to read the executive summary. So this is what I get in order to make buying decisions and help my customers. So executive summary says supply and demand shocks continue to fuel food inflation. War in Ukraine is interrupting grain, edible oil, and fertilizer shipments. World prices have jumped and the cost of planting the 2022 crop has gone up. The hot, dry La Nina weather pattern continues to clip crop output worldwide, with South America losing soybean and corn production after drought hit key production areas. Currently, 70% of North America's wheat belt is in drought condition. Let that sink in. We have no wheat exports coming out of Ukraine, and 70% of North America's wheat production is in drought conditions. Livestock feed costs bounced 15% higher following the Ukraine invasion. Moreover, higher 2022 planting costs look like they could keep feed costs high through 2023. High pathogenic avian influenza, HPAI, is popping up in the East and Midwest. In 2015 HPAI epidemic, a higher percentage of layers in turkeys, layers meaning the chickens that lay eggs. That's what layers mean. Layers in turkeys were lost. A higher percentage of layers in turkeys were lost than broilers. So that's the meat chicken. Inflation is shrinking, consumer budgets making it harder to pass higher costs through. A consumer bulk at higher price margins are increasingly under pressure throughout supply chain. So, I mean, just to give you, I get these reports and then they will go down. We can talk about anything anybody wants, but I was looking at ground beef because ground beef is one of those things that people will buy when they need to stretch their dollar more than getting a ribeye steak, for instance. So ground beef prices bottomed out in March and are now on the rebound. Budget-conscious consumers are buying more value items like ground beef. Drought is boosting cow slaughter, adding to ground beef output. So you're wondering why would that happen? They've got to get them. If there's no water for them to drink, they're going to send them to the slaughter earlier. So despite larger supply, strong demand has lifted the prices 50% above the 5-year moving average. That's insane.
There goes that saying.
Pardon?
I said, there goes that saying.
But it's everything. Like briskets are up. We've got more supply, but we've got increased prices. Inside rounds are up, but the price is leveling out. Ribeyes, the supply is up, but the price is also up. And
you watch. This is when they're going to start to sneak in this plant-based stuff and pawn it off as real meat.
Yes. Now, some people get all verklempt about their bacon and they want to understand bacon. So pork prices overall probably peaked in March and could slip lower during Lent, normally a slow demand time period. The latest USDA survey showed there was 2% fewer hogs in 2022. Slower exports should fully offset the production decline, leaving domestic supply unchanged from 2021. However, rising grain costs have lifted hogs break even by 15%. So producers remain cautious about expanding their output. So it just, like I can go all the way through anything that you want to understand or learn. Chicken prices, obviously, because of that avian flu, we're going to see higher prices there. Soybean oils.
Isn't that going to lead to price problems with eggs then too?
Yeah.
Yes. But
that was already mentioned in the article I watched about that.
But chickens grow fast. So yes, there's an avian flu outbreak. We're going to lose a lot. But chickens actually produce quick. That's why they're cheaper than cows. It takes 2 years to raise cattle enough to get it to slaughter. 2 minimum.
Yeah. My old neighbor, his dad bought some chickens, and I can't remember what kind they were, but they grow massive, and it's 3 months till slaughter.
Wow.
And they're
3
like,
months?
Yeah, they're so big, their bellies like drag on the ground, and that's when you take them and slaughter them.
What?
Yeah. 3
Oh,
months.
that's like overfeeding them on purpose kind of thing?
Yeah.
No, it's genetic.
It's genetics.
How are they genetically dragging their bellies on the ground? Like
it's all the different types of chickens being bred. It's kind of like the discussion we had last night. I can't remember the name of the chicken, but yeah, 3 months.
Well, I know they're also working on developing a genetically enhanced chicken that has 4 legs for the extra drumsticks.
Are you shitting with me?
No, I'm actually serious.
Oh
okay,
my God.
So I've got the
You get to the other side of the road faster though.
That's true.
So I've got the producer price index items. So the forecast change.
Forecast, honey?
The forecast change. So over last year. So last year was when there was a big spike in beef. It's up 4 to 7%. Wholesale pork is up to 3%. Wholesale fats and oils. Fats and oils are in a ton of stuff. 27 to 30%. Farm level fruits are up 12.5 to 15.5%. Farm level vegetables 6 to 9%, and wholesale wheat flour 12 to 15%. So we are in a world of hurt. You guys just can't. This is all the wholesale pricing. This is what all the producers are buying at, so that they could then turn around and manufacture things for the end consumers. So
hold on, Nancy, I got a question. So we're just reading these numbers off. Obviously, I know we're in Canada, our inflation's different than the United States, but let's just use the 8% in the United States. Obviously, producers are seeing, we're going to take these food numbers from Nancy, producers are seeing higher than 8% cost increases average, right? When we saw CPI data yesterday come in as expected, you know how delayed that data is? That goes to a better time earlier in the year that wasn't necessarily as bad as it is now. So again, leading further to the fact that the PPI data exploding, that will be passed on to the consumer. I hate to think of look, the 30-year mortgage rate in the States is now above 5%. It's above 5%. So, and they're going to keep going aggressive, whether it's a half point like Canada or not, even a quarter point. It's going to be, I would genuinely love to hear Candace, Tim, and Ken comment on this, because where do you guys think is the deal for inflation? Because because this is the thing, everyone was saying, oh, we've hit the top of inflation the other day. It could be flattening out. Why? Because it hit expectations. That was my only kind of question. I know Tim's saying that inflation might go away, but maybe starting with Tim, then going to Candace and around the circle. Tim, what are you thinking, dude?
Oh, I don't think inflation's going to go away. I'm not educated enough to be understanding why this is not playing out differently. There's too many things that don't make sense here. And just like in the stock market or any market, there's always a correction. This correction is long overdue, but if this is a correction, this is the weirdest correction I've ever seen. So I really don't know what this is going to end up looking like, to be honest with you. I couldn't even throw a dart at a dartboard and tell you where it's going to land, because it's so unpredictable right now, and it's just got to go with the flow. And I think this is a prime time when people could fall into the FUD and they could fall into the FOMO of things in the investments, and with real estate or with hoarding money, or you know what I mean? It can be spun so many different ways when there is no certainty about, are we going towards a recession? Are we not? Are we going to have a light recession? Are we not? Inflation hits, stock market goes up, or stock market doesn't see a hit. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just so unpredictable. It's just, I have no idea.
Candace, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think prices are definitely going up. And I think that we haven't even come close to seeing the worst of it yet. It's sort of like if inflation were a big fire in front of us and we're walking towards it, we're starting to feel the heat. But the only way we're going to get through it is we've got to walk through the fire. We've got to take the burn to get to the other side. And, some people are going to be really hurt. There's just no way around it. If you remember in the old days in Russia when people used to line up for a loaf of bread, we may see times like that coming here. We just might.
Ken?
Yeah, I'm with Tim on this. It doesn't really make sense because we're still trying to recover from the malware event, right? The human malware event. So, everybody's still trying to recover from that, and then they drop this on us.
Do you think that because we really haven't had a true tax season, and I might be just going down this path of going nowhere, but do you think that after our taxes are filed and that settles, do you think we'll see a different income of what people are willing to release out of their pocketbooks?
What do you mean? Like people deliberately avoiding taxes?
No, or having maybe not have to pay taxes, or having, not a.
You think their tax bill's too high, so they don't have the money to spend?
Something like that. I don't know if the taxes were like our taxes were the same throughout this cerveza sickness as they are going to be coming out of this with inflation on top of that. And, the question I guess is, the other question I have is, and I think Candace alluded to this a while back, that, there was sort of a grace period of having to pay taxes from last year's income tax.
Dude.
I don't know, Candace, I have no idea what that could comparably even look like monetarily wise for the average Joe. But does that play into some of this? And is that going to play into a result of people hanging on to their money more, or opening up the purse budgets or the purse strings and spending through this inflation and recession?
Well, I think you're going to see a whole bunch of different things. One, a lot of these people are the lower income people, the people who had to rely on CERB. So most of them probably were thinking these supports were going to keep coming forever the way it was going. And I think they were just spending like crazy. I mean, there was a huge surge in Amazon. I mean, Amazon made record profits during the illness. And I think now we're at a point where they've no longer got these supports. A lot of them are scrambling. I think there's probably a lot of really great deals on places like Marketplace as they're trying to scrape together money to pay taxes by just selling some of the crap they've been buying throughout the illness. It'll be interesting to see.
What were they saying? It was $300 a month that they were suggesting people save for taxes that were getting that check. Wasn't it somewhere around 300 for taxes?
It was something like that. Yeah. I mean, when it was on the CERB itself, they took no taxes, like zero taxes.
Yeah. So I think they were saying you had to save $300 out of that yourself.
30%.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. And a lot of people probably didn't.
Well, I mean, I used CERB. So what I did is I didn't pay it until this year, but I invested it. So it's like, why should I give the government, I think I only owed them like $1,200. Like, why am I going to give the government $1,200 when I can invest it for a year?
Well, exactly.
But a lot of these people who are in, who aren't exposed to investing, they probably just blew it. It's like, well, I'll just take it this year and get a new TV.
Mm-hmm.
And now maybe they've got that TV on Marketplace.
We have some technical stuff happening here.
Okay. But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's it can't keep going the way it's going. You know, people aren't. I mean, what was I watching? I think I was watching on Ryan's cast when he was doing Powell's speech and stuff like that. That, you know, he said, oh, there's an abundance of jobs out there, and that the job, what did he say, Ryan, that the job market was strong and stuff? And it's like, well, then how come the positions aren't being filled and people aren't getting back to work?
Why would they go back to work? They're being paid not to work. That's like, so unemployment rate in the States, they have 4 to 6 million. Forgive me, don't quote me. Could be 7, could be 3, guys, but it's somewhere around that range. Unemployed, eligibility wise, unemployed. They have 11 million job openings plus consistently. Okay, that's what leads to this wage spiral BS. You know what I mean? Where they now, the workers starting to unionize in Amazon, all that kind of stuff. It's not a surprise. But why the hell would you go to work? I'm serious. Because I know what I made when I was delivering pizza back in the day. And I'm not saying it's a freaking glorious job, but I made $35 an hour cash. And if you did that, that was easy. And that's just sitting in your car cranking tunes all day. And that's cash. You don't report it because they don't either. And you collect CERB, you're making 60, 70 grand a year in the easiest job of your life. Why would I ever go to work?
Tax-free.
Tax, and well, you should claim it, but no one does, right?
Let's be honest, it was tax-free.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally tax. So it's like, we have to think, where are the job openings? Because if you start looking at the wages offered, you'll start noticing it's a certain wage that doesn't want to go back to work because it doesn't make sense, because that's not enough money to go to work. Right. It's almost like Canadian welfare pays you so much that working 40 hours a week doesn't make sense, because then they'll take your welfare away, which is the exact same as a 40-hour wage at minimum wage, 40-hour week at minimum wage. So it's like, why get off welfare? Why not just continue cash work? It's like there's no incentive. And just like in America, dude, when you're paying, and in Canada, when you're paying people to stay home, they're always changing the eligibility for CERB or CRB, whatever they want to call it these days, right? And at the end of the day, they don't find out that you've made a mistake until well after the fact, because their CRA websites like, are you a human being in Canada? Yes, here's thousands. You know what I mean? So no, you guys think everyone here got
true. No, it's
people
true.
who did want CERB, it took about 30 seconds on their website to have thousands of dollars funneled to your account. And it was like, so sorry, something in my throat, guys.
Yeah, there was an issue with their website with actual people trying to file unemployment. They couldn't do it. I remember that it crashed. There was so many people filing at once for CERB. It was insane.
They really need to stop paying people to stay home. If anything, there's a case for boosting social programs, but if you are being paid to stay at home on CERB at this point, quite honestly, I'm wondering if you're in the wrong program. Is there a disability? Maybe, should you be on disability? Because CERB doesn't make sense now. You know what I mean?
It also doesn't exist anymore.
Whatever they call it, though. But
the only thing they have right now is the Canada workers lockdown, but you have to be in a lockdown to get it. And there's no place in Canada right now in a lockdown, so nobody's getting.
Everybody's either at home on disability or they're on welfare, and welfare is.
I don't know if no one's getting it, because is it not dependent on your own workplace not opening back up, and that's the lockdown for half of these workers?
No, it has to be designated by the municipality.
I don't know.
I think the only one you can still get is the child care benefit one, or or the sick one. That's, I think, the only thing that you can get now, and that's pretty limited.
And for the very few amount that I hope is few of small businesses that used and abused all of this free money with zero interest. So you don't, it's not that it's zero interest, is that there's no interest for a certain amount of time period. You're not paying us back. Don't worry about it. I know of one of them. Okay. And I'll get into this in a second, Christine, but I know of one of them, for instance, literally you're taking $100 grand from the government as if you think they're never going to come knocking again. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I think a lot of businesses who abused it are going to be screwed. Also, if you bring up that comment again that my mom was saying, I put my vehicle into Alberta's registry last year. Beyond that, I didn't pay for freaking stickers in Ontario because I thought it was a tax grab and I would literally just get a ticket. I was stupid that way, right? So I haven't paid for a sticker since 2019 in Ontario, at least. Okay. But there is no stickers in Alberta, right? But anyway, so no sticker even on Ontario for about a year before I left. The Ontario government sent me a rebate check for stickers. I never paid for stickers. It was literally, and they're just sending out cash left and right. One, I haven't lived there in 2 years. Two, my vehicle hasn't been registered there in at least over a year. And I didn't even pay for your friggin' stickers.
So what you're saying is Doug can count on your vote.
He's literally sending money out for no reason. It's hilarious. I don't know.
Are you saying that somebody like me who has no car might have a chance of actually getting a sticker?
You might.
You gotta make sure that big wheel has those plates on it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, did I hear it right? When I was next door, I got invited next door very graciously for dinner this evening, and they were talking that Canada, and I take it with a grain of salt, but Canada or Ontario is talking about a 32-hour work week. Have you guys heard anything about that?
My job.
Well, no, but I'm just thinking, if people are on this assistance and people are making X amount at 40 hours a week, now you go to 32 hours a week. That means A, you're at 32 hours a week, you're going to make less money, or B, they're going to increase the salary or wage rate to make the equivalency as if you're working 40 hours a week.
No, I think what the whole thing was to make you work 12s for 4 days to make up for that fifth day off.
It's 4 8s.
Because I know they were doing that in Japan. There was a big article in Japan, and they found that the workers were more mentally rested working 4 at 7, right? So, but good luck trying to find jobs that'll do that. Most jobs run at least 5 days a week, right?
Well, but what's the whole? I mean, I understand the idea is the rest and the lifestyle and this and that, but in the flip side of that, does that create more employment because now they have to sort of have a shift for that one position?
It probably would, yeah.
But why would they have? The idea is that you get paid the same as a 40-hour work week. You just work 4 hours. You just work 4 days instead of 5 through efficiencies of, because once you start breaking it into shifts, you're not gaining anything. And then the person who's just having reduced hours makes less. Because like if they could, the whole point is that they work 4 out, they work 4 days, and they're as efficient in an 8 to 10 hour period in 4 days as they would be over 5 days. That's the whole point. The second you start breaking it into shift work, then you're saying that they're clearly not efficient and therefore their wage will not change. And the whole thing is a fucking waste of time. All you've done is divided full-time employees to part-time. You know what I mean?
I kind of believe there's some jobs I believe this for. Others, you cannot do it. But some jobs, my philosophy is get the project work done, get what you need to get done, deliver on what you said you're going to deliver on. I don't care whether you get up at 5 a.m. because you're a morning person and you work from 5 until this, and then you have to do some stuff with your kids because that's what we did through the pandemic. People had to stop what they were doing to go and do homeschooling. So they altered their hours and they were fine. Like I do some of my best works on Sunday when nobody's bugging me. Nobody needs me for anything. And I can, well, except for Tim Danter, he bugs me on Sundays, but
that's not true. I bug you every day.
I know. Well, that's true. That's true. I know this is all of these things. The thought process is correct. Like giving people a better lifestyle is a really great thing. But the reality is it'll be those guys that hustle it out that end up climbing the ladder. It just always
and this is the thing. There's actually a really great example of this in play. And I know this company is called MailChimp. Actually, I don't know if it's I think it's MailChimp, but it's a mail service. It's in Ottawa. I don't know if it's MailChimp, but it's like MailChimp or it's MailChimp, okay? And I knew someone who worked for them. Anyway, I think my mom knows this story too. Anyway, totally free workspace. You have X to get done, and the wage is this per year. You don't follow it, you don't get it done, then you're fired, right? There are some people there probably working a day and a half, 2 days a week. This guy was working 3 or 4 days a week. Some people working all 5. But it's almost like piecework in construction. You're just paid what you're paid. And if you can get it all done in a day, then you're off. And that's how Virgin works too. Like Virgin did that. And it's like, it almost motivates you to, if you do value that 3 to 4, that life type of balance or whatever, then you are going to hustle your ass off and work mega hours and you're going to accomplish it. But
do you know, I had a friend who worked for Danone, you know, the yogurt people,
okay.
Danone and Silk and everything. They had unlimited holidays.
Wow, that's a perk.
but it's the same theory, right? It's exactly the same theory. As long as you get your work done and you get everything that you say you're supposed to do it.
Well, you know what it is? It's almost a quasi form of commission payment.
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't finish what you're supposed to get done with all the freedom you have, you're fired so fast it's not even funny, and they just find someone else who wants the best job on the planet.
But commission work is that way. Like you literally eat what you kill. So if you don't hustle and you don't bring it in, you don't get paid. And if you want more money, if you want to raise, go bring in more sales. It's no darn different than, anyways.
I miss it.
Well, when I used to be a training manager, I used to send people home to do projects, and I would basically say, this is how much work I need you to get done. If you can do it in 5 hours, cool. You've got 3 hours paid free time. But, don't come back tomorrow without this being done.
It's piecework, and that's what I love about it. It's you're paid for a task, whether it takes you 1 day or 2 fucking months, you're paid for a task.
And the reality is, if I would have given them this to do in the center, they'd never get it all done because of the interruptions. So by sending them home, it was bonus. We both, they got some extra time. I got the work done I needed.
Yeah, no, it's true. I want to go back to Verena's comment of a few minutes ago. I popped it up for a minute so we get our thinking on it. She goes, what do you think about the prime rate increase and where do you see it going? I know we started the stream talking about this, but this is on everybody's top of mind. And I let me just clear that comment off. I sent Tim a couple of links on Facebook Messenger. One was an article that says Bank of Canada raises key rate 0.5 point to 1% and warns of further rate hikes. And they're talking about that this is very concerning because you add those increases on. Did we talk? I know we talked about this, but I think we wanted to dive into it a little bit more because as they raise those prices and then you add in the invasion of Ukraine has driven up prices of energy and other commodities, and the war is further disrupting global supply chain. They're worried, they're concerned about the broadening of price pressures in Canada. The central bank hiked its policy interest rates by 0.5 percentage point on Wednesday to 1%. The last time the central bank raised its key interest rate by 0.5 percentage point was May 2000.
22 years ago. Mm-hmm. This is a big thing. So what's the thing though? The Bank of Canada is speaking of really significantly different than the Fed. The Fed is still, but those are the same people who told us inflation was transitory this whole time. Those are the same people who've been faking us out because the United States is still having very little price action pressure or pricing in a recession, believe it or not. Bank of Canada came out and full-blown said that they didn't act fast enough in so many words, and the 0.5 point was totally justified, and they will keep going. They're going to go up to probably 2% and 3% possibly, and then start debating things. What does that do to your mortgage? Well, guys, let's put it this way. For every 0.25 point on an $860,000 house, so I said this to all channel members today because it was a good Bloomberg article. With this 0.5 point increase and an $860,000 house, you're seeing an extra $2,200 and change every year in servicing costs, right? So let's just break it down in just basic numbers, even though it's vaguely off. But for every 0.25 point increase, it's $100 more a month on your mortgage, give or take, okay? And it is give or take. It's more like 90, 85, 90, something like that. But let's just say $100 for every 0.25 point on the average $800,000 house, okay? The United States has said that they plan 7 rate hikes this year alone. To think Canada is going to stop this housing market thing is going, I don't know, Nancy.
That's the next article I sent Tim Danter. I said
think there might be a fire sale on houses.
Yeah, it says the top is off. Canadian home prices show signs of cracking. There it is, honey. Thank you. It said realtor. This realtor had a front row seat to the cracks starting to show in one of the world's hottest markets. A month ago, Bidding wars between as many as 20 potential buyers were common for his listings in Vancouver. Now, occasionally, only a single offer turns up. Some people are even feeling bold enough to haggle. The top is off, said Canada's record housing boom. He estimates the frenzy hit its peak sometime in February. So they're really starting to see this shifting tide after Canada's home prices surged by more than 50% over the past 2 years. Higher mortgage rates are pulling down purchasing power, just as politicians are piling on measures to rein in the market. Although these changes have yet to show up in aggregate price data, just stopped. In aggregate price data, which continues to rise, industry veterans are saying things may have finally reached a tipping point. Thank freaking God. Like, Tim and I went and saw a place in Kitchener. This place was gorgeous. And if it wasn't on this street, it probably would have sold for a lot more money. But they had the realtors had listed it for $599. And so we went to see it. Like, it was smart. The realtors pull you in with these lower prices to get your eyeballs on it. But it was on a very, very busy road. And I would have been like, ugh, I feel like putting my life into my own hands. Anyways, the long and short of this is, when we get in there, Tim and I are like, well, what do you really want for this place? Because this seems really low for this place. Anyways, they were holding back offers, waiting for the offers to all come in. And they had two people that put offers in right at asking. And when we were standing in there, we told that guy, well, they've done beautiful things in here. I wouldn't go anything higher than this. And now these articles are saying that people like us are pushing back, going, no, I'm not paying $800,000 for a teardown.
Okay, this is the very simple thing. Let's just assume, because it's very different if you have dual income as opposed to single income, right? But let's just assume a single person renting out a place, let's say $1,700 a month for a half decent place, right?
In Alberta.
Even, okay. So,
no, Toronto area is $2,000.
Okay, so let's just say all we have is $2,000 though, right? And for every quarter point, the mortgage goes up by $100, like we were just saying, right? By the time they do get to the 2%, 2.5%, that's a $600 a month increase on the same property value, right? So I'm priced out, no longer buy. So it's evaporating the buyers. It's going to force the prices to go down. And because all that really matters at the end of the day is what's the major buying demographic and what's their disposable income. If it is, let's say, tied at real estate to a number like 2,500, and we've exceeded that, they're evaporating that buyer, demographic dies, prices come back down so that demographic, the biggest buying demographic, is now within buying distance, right? So it's like this spike. We see it in stocks all the time. Look at Air Canada. From 2017 to 2019, nothing. We had a spike up to $52 pre-pandemic. And then same thing now, nothing, right? Sometimes there's an anomaly in price. It doesn't mean that that's the fair value that we're getting back to. You know what I mean? And like the same thing with housing. It can be this way, but just because we have a spike in the middle doesn't mean that that's the fair value. So that's this. All these prices are distorted like crazy. And the fact, like Pierre Poilievre had an incredible video the other day where he's in Vancouver, a suburb of Vancouver. This house was borderline demo status, written off. $1.6 million. Okay. So he said the neighbor, who also had a written off house, demoed it and built 6 small borderline shack units. Okay. So community borderline housing, right? He's like, this is a $10 million project and you get to live in a 1-bedroom condo 5 feet away from your neighbor on one lot in Vancouver for $1 million. And that's just so that the developer can break even after buying the property and developing the land. So you get the whole luxury of a 2-by-2 foot piece of grass in a 1-bedroom apartment in Vancouver for $1 million. So that's the thing. So if I'm priced out of it, why would I ever put money into real estate? I'm not. So eventually there's going to be more people who are thinking like that, like Tim and Nancy. They'd rather rent an apartment. Why would you buy a house right now? When you have someone selling a bungalow for $1.2 million that was built in like 1969, and it's in the middle, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I wasn't reading this comment.
Do you know what's interesting is the house that Nancy's referring to sold. I don't know what the selling price was, but the house directly beside it just went on the market 2 days ago for $679,900.
I got something for you, Tim. Remember that photo you sent us about that house that was for sale?
Yes.
The ceiling was falling out and stuff
Yep.
like that. There was a description on the radio of that this morning that sold for 116,000 over asking.
Yep.
I was just like,
Like,
wow.
I honestly wonder if people have shit for brains. Like, seriously,
It's so stupid.
I really
Don't
wonder
talk
this.
about Ken that way.
Yes, that's not nice, Nancy.
That's not nice. He's special. He's not shit for brains.
No, I'm talking
Don't make
about
me wear my
buying
hat.
at the height of this. Like,
Uh-oh.
Somebody
Sorry,
hurt
like-
Ken's feelings.
Too many people got caught up in this.
and those are the ones that are going to feel,
Oh, yeah.
those are the ones that are going to feel it. Like, we talk about all this stuff on inflation and what's happening, and then the mortgage rate increases. We talk about it on here so the nickel and dime crew can make some decisions about what they're going to do about repositioning themselves and things like that. You know, it's funny. We called our mortgage broker, Tim did yesterday or the day before, just to say, hey, listen, rates are going up. Should I lock in? His response was, oh, you should talk to your financial planner. I'm like,
Fucking mortgage broker said that?
really? I'm thinking to myself, really? That's your job. You tell me what I should be doing.
Oh, God. You know what it is? Is anyone here familiar with that company, Zillow?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the US?
Yeah. That's what it is. We're turning into Zillow. It's like Idiocracy, like the movie. It's all just
Nobody wants
basic,
to take any responsibility
like
for
Zillow.
anything.
And that's what I mean. And that's why that company is literally, this is like Zillow, and everything's operating like it. It's just friggin' idiots right now. Like, this is the craziest thing. It's like and it's millennials who got sucked into this. You did not see boomers getting sucked into this. In fact, actually, my grandparents sold their house for mega dough, was able to get into one they pre-reserved 2 years earlier for their retirement. I mean, they flipped and made cake. But then you get the millennials like desperate because rates are going to go up. I got to save 2 or 3% at the risk of buying a $400,000 house for near $1 million, which has happened. So now that all your friends who waited 2 or 3 years and have 500 grand have the same house as you with half the mortgage, you're borderline wanting to end everything. Like, we're not going to see this until renewal season comes along in a few years. Renewal season is going to kill a lot of owners, like flat out. It's going to eliminate owners. And then what happens? You get companies like BlackRock, dude, who buy that stuff at pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
And what we've done is we've set this up so that in Canada, we're going to have a buying opportunity in real estate like no other. Whoever gets it in a few years gets it. But you're going to have companies buy up because we're so stupid. And everyone's buying at the top, like Nancy said. I mean, look, who in their right mind goes to a $600,000 bungalow and pays $1 million with 30 bids over asking? And it's like, does that
That's why I wouldn't do it.
I know, it's like,
but I will tell you though, Ryan, it was stressful. Like, for anybody out there that doesn't have a place to live and they don't know what they're doing. I think poor Tim was feeling the pinch of me and my anxiety. Every day I was like getting worse and worse and worse. Like, oh my God, we're going to be homeless orphan people. Like, what's going to happen to us? We're going to be like little orphan Annie. I'm going to have to get a perm and everything. It's going to be horrible. Anyways, poor Tim. I think I drove him crazy. But see, Tim, now I'm here. I can flick him in the head like I do you throughout the, I can flick his hat off. I can push him, that's what happens here. I don't know. But so Ken, do you think about what that's going to look like? Let me ask this to Ken and Candace, because I know how Tim feels. Ken and Candace in particular, do you spend any time thinking about the future, like playing the whole film forward as these higher prices come in? Do you think about, well, how am I going to position myself to take advantage of this?
Yeah, I do. With my mortgage, I do. I want to try by the time my mortgage comes up for renewal because we just renewed it not too long ago. So it's a fixed one. So in 5 years, I want to have as much paid down on my mortgage as I can, so that whatever inflation or whatever rate is out there at the time for renewal, I can afford it, instead of just paying the normal mortgage amount for the next 5 years, right? The more you chew off, the less you owe. So then the less your fees are, right? So
Yeah.
that plays a lot on my head right now.
And I think you've told us this before, but I'm just going to ask the question again. When you think about you and Natasha and your monthly bills and all the rest of it, would you say that you live above your means, at your means, or below your means?
I've always tried to have us live below our means. That way there's no surprises.
Yeah.
Right. Then we have extra cash for the unfortunate stuff that does come up in life, right? But recently, not me spending, it's her. We've been a little above our means, not by much, but by enough that if something critical happened, it could impact us financially.
Yeah. Candace, how do you feel about this? Do you think about, like, I'm thinking about it constantly because, as I said, I get those reports. I'm reading what the raw goods coming in, and then I'm playing the film forward. If this is what it's coming in at in the raw goods, you have to add in the manufacturer's take on the whole thing, and then it pushed back out, and then higher freight. So for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are just getting larger and larger and larger. Do you ever play out the inflation scenario in your head?
I'm very good at fasting if things get really bad. So that's
me too.
Because I mean, right now my income is like zero. I don't get any supports. I get nothing. I am at absolutely nothing. So I'm very good at being thrifty when you don't have an income.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, I've always got contingency plans for every possible event. Plus, I can think really, really insanely fast and adjust plans on the fly. So,
yeah,
I'm pretty versatile that way.
So you've got a little bit of a nest egg. You've got that if something for a contingency.
Don't have that much of a nest egg. I've been living a long time without income, so
yeah.
No.
Okay, so okay, there's the financial part of it. With all of this food shortage stuff that I have nothing that says this in concrete writing, but my feeling is we're going to see food shortages like we've never seen before. And so I'm just trying to figure out, is anybody either on the panel today thinking about like putting away some additional food sources, or are you going to roll the dice? And even in the comments, is anybody thinking about potentially what could food shortages look like for you?
No, I'll just change. Our family will just change our habits of eating.
To what? Like not eating?
No, local's always cheaper. Like they sell 3/4 of their crop to the big guys, right? And then they save 25% for the local farmers, like the what did they
honestly
call
that's a really good thing you said there, Ken, because this is like real talk, because I know in Alberta this would never be an issue, and I know that in rural Ontario it's never going to be an issue. When you do actually just suck it up and get your eggs, your beef, your chicken from the boy up the street, the girl up the street who does run a farm.
Well, because the farmers want us to buy local, right? And then to help us out, they only sell X amount to superstores and all that kind of crap. And they leave enough here for us local people to go to the farmer's market and buy it from them at a bit of a reduced rate than what you would see in the store.
And this is the beautiful thing. Like if you are actually to go to a farmer, most sell the eggs, the chicken, and the beef. Like most, maybe not the beef, but the eggs and the chicken for sure, right? Like
$2 a flat, man. 36
Oh, dude, and that's insane. And the amount of protein you get from an entire flat at $2, you can live on the streets with a flat for 2 weeks.
Hell
probably.
yeah.
Like honestly, so like that's my only thing is if people want to eat like the way they were eating, you're probably just going to have to go to a farmer.
Yeah, and just go back to your original meat, potato, veg.
It's like getting the meat though, dude. It's getting meat. That's a bitch. Like, does anyone realize how much chicken blows our mind every time we see it in the grocery store? And we still, I mean, it doesn't matter how the chicken's packaged, it's ferociously expensive. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like you said, you could replace your protein with another protein, such as eggs.
I know, right? But if you want to keep the same lifestyle, maybe you got to go to a farmer for meat. Is all I'm saying. Dude.
Yeah. Well, see, we're still paying $6 a pound for ground beef from our local butcher.
You know, or
it's fresh. It's raised here. I don't have to worry about getting it at like Walmart and being worried that half of that beef is from the States, right? Not knowing what the hell's in it. This is all beef here. So I don't mind paying $6 a pound because I know it's raised locally.
Yeah, but all I mean though is that if we're talking like supply shortages, the farmers have it. So if Walmart doesn't have it, go drive an hour to the middle of butt frig, you know what, and go talk to a farmer. He's got some food, guaranteed.
Your friends in the Mennonite Belt.
Yes,
it's crazy, dude. Because Southern Ontario near those sandbars. I don't know what it's sandbanks. Yeah, right around there, they have like the best standalone farms with their huts at the end of the
Prince Edward County.
Yeah, they've got like the corn that's like my friggin' forearm. But like you could drive just Prince Edward County, dude, get every vegetable, piece of meat, wine. I mean, and just from the farmers and not touch a grocery store. I mean, I'm dead serious.
Totally. And that's what I'm talking about, where, you know, we may just have to adjust what we're eating. It's the same thing if you go back to when
I refuse to adjust what I'm eating. I'm only going to adjust where I'm getting it, man.
You just
am not giving up chicken and steak.
I like the guy that's delivering it. He's your buddy.
I wonder if we'll see an increase in the presence of roadside stands and more markets and more presence in larger markets now.
I hope so.
Yes,
I hope so. Actually, when my mother was here, we went to the Calgary Farmers Market, which is expanding drastically. They have a massive complex now. They're expanding with an even bigger one. It's like the Sens Arena, the Bell Sensplex in Ottawa. Like it's a hockey rink. It's huge, huge, huge. They're expanding like crazy. And it's just, even if it's anything from artisan meats, I say artisan. I don't even want to say that. It's just farm meat that we're buying direct instead of from Walmart, going through 800 hands and 50 refrigerators before I get it, right? And that's a disgusting thing, though, I find about, and I'm not going to knock the food transportation process, okay?
Especially when I'm sitting here. And
I know, but all I'm going to say is straight up, I love the fact that farm to fork is taking reality, like in Ontario. Just now because you got to make sure, dude. Like my one thing with meat is like, how many of us have had bad meat from Walmart or the grocery store? And it's like it only takes one dickhead to frig up the transportation process and not like as in have it warm up and then you're done, right? And it's
yellow chicken breast, man. Yellow chicken breast. Don't eat.
Doesn't happen with farmers, man. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, exactly.
Well, it does.
But I love Gordon food.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm joking.
Sponsor. Nancy would drive faster. The food wouldn't spoil.
It's everything though.
But I think it's not about adjusting what you're eating. It's about adjusting it and moving it into expanding so spreading it out a little bit more. So instead of having a big, full, giant chicken breast as your center of the plate option, you may have done a fried rice that's got veggies in it, whole pile of rice, half a chicken breast that you've sauteed up, maybe a couple of eggs, so you could use that chicken breast for something else.
But we've done this to ourselves with it's essentially overeating. If you look back in the 60s, look how big a hamburger was back in the 60s. Look how big a donut was, right? So people were eating less back then and they were surviving great, you know, less heart disease, less cancer, less this, less that. We can do it. We can downsize everything that we're eating, right?
People were smaller back then, Ken.
Yeah, but
they're only bigger now because they're overeating.
No, but like let's talk about the 40s, 30s, 50s, 60s though. I'm 6 feet tall, and I think people were shorter though, because every one of them. I don't know. I think
the car was designed for someone 5'10".
That's interesting. God, that's a whole other conversation.
If you go to a historical site, like for example in Halifax, if you go to Citadel Hill, just go into their sleeping quarters.
Yes,
look at the beds; they're very, very short because people used to be much, much shorter. So humans have been evolving to get taller.
What's the deal with that?
That's because of the short beds. That's why when they slept on it, they had their feet on the ground. That's why they said, always have your boots on the ground.
No, you're making that up, Tim
I
Danter.
know, but some people bought it.
I know. Honest to God, I can tell when he's making it. But even at Citadel Hill, when you go in there and you see their uniforms, like the uniform wouldn't even have fit like Ryan's arm.
It's weird.
It is. They were little tiny people. So of course they needed to eat less because they were little. But when you get to be Tim Danter's height, near 6'6", you got to put a lot of food in there to keep that engine going. That's a lot of man to move around.
You're huge. 6'6" is tall.
Okay, so we've talked about. Oh my gosh.
Well, what were we just talking about?
We were talking about making your food go far.
So so I wonder if this will teach people to be food plan more and food prep more.
Well, I think people need to. You can't afford today to be wasting food.
But we do.
And Eric Mittens, man. Earlier he said he would eat his neighbor. I don't know where you live, Eric, but I hope it's not near me.
But Candace,
and now you can eat bugs, government issued edible bug protein bricks. I've actually seen it, and there's cricket plants. I've seen the videos of it, and Maple Leaf was selling cricket powder, like protein powder.
Yeah, flour.
Because they are heavy duty in protein, believe it or not.
Oh, fuck.
You can actually order cricket flour off of Amazon.
Yeah.
well,
Ew.
and some of it has THC. It's cannabugs.
No, it's not. People get confused when you say these things. Oh.
Tim, I don't know what I would do without you, bud.
Yes. But the crickets, you can produce those things really fast and protein. So Eric is not actually wrong, but he is wrong to say he'd eat his neighbor. I wouldn't recommend eating your neighbor unless they're really, really, really nasty people. Then you should just let the bugs eat them, and then you eat the bugs. It's all good.
Yeah, someday I'm just going to bake a whole bunch of cricket muffins and then see if the people who eat them chirp up.
Don't. No, Candace, you can't do it.
It's
I'll
done.
tell you, if you ever gave me a muffin, Candace, that I ate, and then you told me after that it was crickets, I would be so shaken. I wouldn't even be mad. I'd walk away shaken.
I'm sending you some cricket protein.
Yeah, but we hear you coming because
I'll feel bad for throwing it out.
We'd all
I
chirp
have
you.
to keep it, but I can't eat it.
Why can't you? Ooh, you know what? I should have thought this one through a little bit. I should have brought something for you to taste test because I usually make Tim Danter do a taste test.
Oh, are you lucky?
She doesn't have anything.
I don't have anything. I brought nothing with me except for my computer and my cell phone someplace.
Sorry about my dog.
And then you know what else is really crazy? I put the address in here, and like Ryan sent me his address, and so I called a cab from the hotel, and I sent and I came here in a cab. I actually do not know where my hotel is because Christina, the girl I'm with, she booked our hotel and she checked in, she did everything. So it's not even in my travel schedule because I'm with her. And now all of a sudden I'm thinking, I don't actually recall where I'm staying.
One of them. Somewhere in the snow.
Somewhere the city of Calgary is going to have a street cam, and you're going to see Nancy going from one side of the street to the other side of the street to the other side of the street as she walks down. And then,
no word of a lie, it's freezing freaking cold here in Alberta.
Well,
but at least I'm not in Winnipeg. In Winnipeg, they're getting 80 centimeters of snow. Anyways,
it's insane.
So
it's simply insane.
Zach wanted
get a foothold in there.
I remember seeing all the bugs and lollipops years
Gross.
ago. Don't understand.
It's
Zach,
not.
we're not seeing the bugs and the.
I have a confession. I had a scorpion in a lollipop.
You're disgusting. No, you didn't. You ate. Hold on. Did you eat it as you?
No, I did. I licked all of the stuff around it, but when I got too close, its claws were scratchy on my tongue, and I just
You psycho. So wait, did you actually eat scorpion though, or did you just lick it?
The scorpion. I licked all the candy around the scorpion.
Okay, you want to hear something really cool? I honestly, we have this new division called EPO. It's extended product offering. So we consider it our endless aisle. You can buy anything you can find. We'll sell it to you at GFS. So one of the reps in the US got deep fried scorpions, and he sells them to a Mexican restaurant, and they make this spicy guacamole or a spicy guacamole or a spicy salsa, and sitting on the top is one of these deep fried scorpions.
Well, it's in Washington because it's a DEI sting raid. So
I didn't hear what he said. I missed it. Damn it, I missed the joke.
Another dad joke. It was another dad joke. So, okay, you had something. You told me something when I came here
Celsius,
tonight.
is that the one?
Well, we'll talk about Celsius
Okay.
in a minute, but you were telling me about Pierre Poilievre and what was going on here yesterday.
Bitcoin he was orange pilling. Okay, firstly, you guys know me enough at this point, so let me just be myself, okay? So there's Jean Charest and then there's Pierre Poilievre, because there's a conservative race in Canada, right? Jean Charest had an event yesterday, as did Pierre Poilievre. Pierre's was in Calgary. I tried to go, okay? So this is my experience. Firstly, photos all over the place. Jean Charest attracted a whopping 15 people, maybe 30, whatever the hell it was. Pierre had thousands. I could not get in, okay? I couldn't even get in. He filled a freaking, and I mean a massive space. There was so many people, it was disgusting. He spent probably 20 minutes Bitcoining the hell out of every citizen in Calgary, and they're like, hell yeah, they're screaming for it. And this is the funny thing. I want everyone to consider this, whether you're for it or against it, because it made me kind of think about it. Bitcoin, people are now weaponizing Bitcoin because it's almost like I love Pierre, but it's a way to say screw Trudeau and his Canadian dollar right here, right now. In my opinion, he's almost weaponizing it politically, and you're going to start seeing that in the States. Because you're already starting to notice senators running on it. Bitcoin, you can't associate with this, XYZ, right?
Because so they're trying to get the millennial vote.
It's also true, though, no?
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking it.
No.
Look, guys, I'm not knocking
They're
it.
trying to get the millennial vote.
But he was Bitcoining he orange pilled like 5,000 people for like 20 minutes. But want to keep in mind, I'm trying to have both sides here. It was slightly weaponized for the political part of it, right? But anyway, it was an amazing day for Bitcoin. I wish I could have got in, but and it was an amazing day for conservatives. But I'll leave that.
Well, there's an exchange you can use to purchase Bitcoin. That's the way to get into it.
Is it in the description below, though?
We're bad at this game.
You son of a gun. Is it actually not in the description below?
It might be.
We're talking about the way to get free Bitcoin, and if you're brand new to this channel, click it.
Shakepay.
Nancy, I didn't set this up.
I'm looking. I will look.
Oh, God, you guys.
I'm pretty sure it's there.
We are not.
You don't know how to copy to paste, huh? Copy to paste.
I do have it.
The man coming, knock at the door, nobody answer.
Or just drop your link in
Look,
chat.
I go ring ring. I'm like, hello, statue.
Just add alcohol there.
Oh, hell.
Holy shit. Can you imagine us all in the same room?
Are we in the same room? We're in the same room. We're sitting side by side.
Tim, when are you getting your ass down to Calgary, bro?
Well,
make it happen
Nancy,
one day.
next out there.
As soon as Nancy gets back.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, apparently we have a party. GFS has a party for this at the Stampede. I found out about that last night.
Really?
They're like, this customer that I was with at the hockey game last night, he goes, oh, are you going to come back for the Stampede? And I'm like, he says, apparently you have a big party going on, and I want an invite. So I'm like, okay. So then the girl I was with, she says to me, she goes, well, you better have got your hotel room. I go, this is the first time I'm hearing we have a party here at the Stampede.
If you guys actually come, no word of a lie, I'll tell my landlord we can Airbnb this bitch.
Really?
If you tell me, if you know you're coming, I can give
When
him
is
notice.
it, Ryan?
Okay, so the bottom, and Nancy can attest to this when you guys get home. So it's a fourplex, okay? The bottom two units are full timers. Like I'm in this one, my buddy Kabir is in the other one. Top two units, same as mine. They're Airbnbs. I don't want to put the address out there, obviously, because then people can look it up and shit like that. Nancy has my address. But, dude, if you guys ever knew you were coming to Calgary and wanted a 30,000 times better experience than a hotel, you could, even if you wanted to avoid the smell, if you're worried about it, I mean, for weed, go over to the other unit. What I'm saying is, if you know you're coming to Calgary, let me know, and I can get you this place. I'll tell my landlord to just lock it.
My question was, when is the Stampede?
July. It's it's about a week and a half to 10 days in July, and it'll shut the shit down here. Like, there's no business being like, there's nothing happening.
Well, except this party, apparently.
Well, that's all that happens, though, is party. Like, even when I used to sell cars, they'd be like, don't worry about it. We're not having meetings. We're not doing anything. Screw it. People, whoever, it was like you're off, and they don't expect you to do anything else. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing I've ever experienced as a working adult. Damn, that bag is epic. No, that's genuine leather. I love it. So what do you got? You guys look quiet. Ken looks like he's passing out. Candace looks like she's...
Maybe you can't. Do we...
It's the bag of Gucci. It's a Gucci.
I know, Nancy, that's what's
Gucci.
Gucci goo.
I don't need... I'll just plug it in anywhere.
Yeah, if you unplug the white plug there. So yeah. Inflation.
It keeps going up.
What do you think about Bitcoin's price action lately?
Yeah. I want to know about this.
Love it.
It's I'm actually okay with it right now. It's starting to rebound again because it did bounce off of support.
I'm not sure if you caught my live stream, but what do you just assume that I'm telling you fact, because I'm going to reiterate the article here. This is a Bloomberg study, and they always track its correlation, right? And I was telling this to Nancy beforehand. So remember a few crypto nights ago, whatever, we were talking about the correlation of Bitcoin to the S&P 500. So now Bloomberg released this information. Bitcoin is at an all-time high correlated to the NASDAQ. And I mean, I brought this up in my live stream and interlaid the two charts. And I mean, they're literally dancing. It's like Dirty Dancing, Patrick Swayze. They are literally like, it's identical, right? So I'm just wondering, and then I was telling Nancy about a study that was done by the Bank of America for hedge fund managers and fund managers that said 64% of them see a 10% plus decline in the S&P and are trading as such, which made me think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, especially with the algorithms and stuff, right? So if the S&P goes down 10, I was just talking to Nancy, I thought if that happened, I'm not saying it will, if that happens, the NASDAQ will go down 15. It's just more volatile, right? And if Bitcoin's tied to NASDAQ more now than ever in Bitcoin's history, and again, the chart was amazing. It's on Bloomberg. Go check it out. If that's the case, NASDAQ drops 15 to 20%. It happens. I'm not saying it will. Then Bitcoin drops 20 to 30. We were talking about that. And then that would give way to all the naysayers who have the buy alerts and the sell-off points in the 20s, which to me seems unfathomable. Like, you know, when I was saying, no, I'm not touching Bitcoin till it's in the high to mid 30s. I had no freaking clue that we would actually touch 39,000 this fast. You know what I mean? So when it does tie to the NASDAQ as it is right now, are you I know long term, but short term, though, what are you thinking? Like between now and 90 days, just your gut, because none of us know. There's no financial advice. No one knows.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. It looked like it was slowly starting to move away from that relationship, but now it's done an about turn and it's come right back. And as you said, yeah, I saw that data, and it's like, okay, this is very interesting. I think right now, if the NASDAQ were to plunge right now, I think it would be a real bad thing for crypto. It would be a wonderful buying opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's what it would be, because long-term crypto will decouple, but we need to get people into it right now.
Okay, and this is another thing too. So again, because that Bank of America study saying most people assume things are going to go down. It used to be 3%. Now I think it's because I was looking up today, 3.7 something percent of investors are now indulging into crypto. So it's like we are catching our own shit sometimes when we think crypto is going to spike because of a Bitcoin conference. You know what I mean? A little bit, because there's only 3 out of 100 people investing in it, right? But it's like, I I mean that for the Twitterverse, who constantly was like, why isn't Bitcoin at 80,000? Because Michael Saylor had a speech.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stupid. I think like Bitcoin, it's almost like Bitcoiners need to accept the commodity that it is.
Interestingly enough, every time we have that conference in Miami, the price dumps. This is the third year.
Sell the news. Sell the news.
Third year.
Same thing
Sell
with
the
Dubai.
news.
All those coins in Dubai, none of those companies went up. None of them spiked or nothing.
I mean, and there was really, really bullish stuff that came out of this conference. I mean, just the stuff with Strike and
Yes.
and you know, in those all of the terminals like Walmart, you've been able to use Bitcoin at Walmart through the Strike and through what is it called, NRC, I think it's called.
Yes.
Did you guys hear that Jack Mallers announcement? Where
What about
Shopify?
not just Shopify, but how he's changing Lightning Network to compete with XRP.
I didn't hear that
No,
one.
that I did not hear.
Okay, Google it. Just Google.
Yeah.
You know how SEO works, right? Google Jack Mahler, XRP, Bitcoin. I only caught flippets of it on Twitter, so I was hoping someone else picked it up because I know you guys are Bitcoiners and stuff. But no, it was because I heard people were asking questions. What's the point of XRP then? You know, as a payment, as in the SWIFT, as we know it, type of thing, right?
Well, yeah.
No, and that's what I was wondering is like, how much faith also do we have in Jack Mahler? And you guys know I'm not a Bitcoiner.
I like him.
You do, but
I do.
but what if he's creating and running Swift, modern day Swift?
Possibly.
Do you have faith in that?
I don't know. I think once the SEC gets
I got to learn more about him.
I think once the SEC ruling is all done and all that sort of stuff, I honestly, because Mark Lazarick sent me something about what was this thing, Tim? He said the SEC's motion for reconsideration is denied and its motion for clarification is granted. The clerk of the court respectively directs to terminate the motion of the. So this was huge. He said the SEC loses its motion to try not to turn over the 60 copies of the Hinman speech. So what they're doing is they're running out of roadblocks. Within the next 2 weeks, Ripple and SEC have to agree to a date for summary judgment and expect late May, early June. And if they are going to settle, they will have to do it before the summary judgment. He personally thinks that settlement is going to happen. And so that he's expecting that there will be a run on XRP price to $7 to $10.
Whoa. Okay, hold on. I'm not calling your friend out at all, but where's his 10x judgment on that? 10 to 15x, folks. That's a 10 to 15x.
Yeah, it has to do with blockchain backer's been tracking it. He's got all the data and they're watching it like crazy. So he does the technical analysis. So a lot of the stuff Mark gets is from blockchain backer who's looking at it. We just like blockchain backer for the TA and specifically on XRP. And he gets the news and the information and he says, if it goes to, if the judge comes back and says this, then this is where it's going to go. If the judge comes back and says this, then this is where it could go. If they settle, this is where it's going to go. And they've got all these probabilities that they're working on.
I'm wondering this though. How much market cap, how much money needs to be flooded into XRP to hit $7? Is there enough crypto investor appetite for that to even happen? Even if the SEC was 100% in favor of crypto, is there enough appetite in crypto? Is there enough people left with enough money to shift? To hold on, because you have to think, whoever has an investment in crypto now that isn't sold out, that's a hold bag, right? We're bagging, right? Considering the market's dropped all year long. Who's going to sell something that is in all likelihood down based on year-to-date performance, probably everything crypto? Who's going to sell something down to buy the dip? Because it's not institutions.
It might be banks.
It is not going to be banks.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay. I love the discussion. What do you guys think though? I almost feel like the crypto pump and dumps, it's almost like, it's like a wedge in TA. Candace knows this best. It's like the volatility starts chilling out and shit gets boring. But that means we're starting to get closer to establishing the new norm or the new path forward, whether it's up or down or wherever, right? But we're noticing even IDOs, their pumps are less. Their pumps last significantly less amount of time. Everything is coming closer in this wedge. That's my gut, Nancy. I don't know. I know you're XRP'd out, but there's a part of me that wants to put a few $100 in it. What do you guys think? Tim, start with you because you're Nancy's counterpart. You're on the other side.
I'm biased with Nance. I mean, we have a significant investment in this, and I wouldn't have done it if I didn't believe in it.
Does 7 to 10 make sense?
I'm
going to put a few bucks
it does. It absolutely does. It absolutely. And here's why, Ryan.
Where's the money coming from, though?
Well, where does the money come from when you get an increase like that in any other altcoin?
It's recycled coins. It's recycled cash. That's why you're seeing the pumps be significant.
It could,
the drop off.
But the reason that if the judgment goes in favor of, or a settlement is done between SEC and XRP, what it's going to do is it's going to potentially take, if you're asking where the influx of money is going to come from, is from those institutions and investors that have been sitting on the sidelines with this great product that say, okay, shit's cleared, let's go.
Yeah.
So how much?
And hang on. And until a Jack Mallers brings a Lightning Network into it, XRP is the big boy in the stadium.
How much money are you going to put into XRP if the favor or summary comes out in favor of XRP?
How much money am I going to put into it?
Because you're relying on people dumping money, just the holders, because it's only recycled cash.
Already got a bag.
I've got a huge bag in this right now.
So but how much more are you going to put in, though? Because you're relying on...
I am not.
So then what's to say that anyone in your position is going to put in another $1? That's what I mean. I mean, we're expecting retail push here, but it's like...
Well, it could be retail or institutional.
It could be.
But because
don't forget, XRP is connected to Ripple, and Ripple is being more accepted by CIBC and RBC right now?
God
something
damn
like
it,
that.
I don't know.
And institutions don't want to touch it right now until everything is figured out.
But why would they touch it in general? Why would they own it in general, given they can create their own avenue digitally themselves?
Because it's already designed and proven, and why would they have to invest? It's like, why would I hire an employee?
They were using it before.
Were they?
They've been using that payment rail system before.
I'm not knocking XRP. I'm trying to always just be devil's advocate.
Sure.
That's all I'm trying to do. Yeah.
Sure.
No, I almost want to be proven wrong so that I can.
Candace, what do you think?
XRP is interesting, but my eye is on a bigger prize at the moment.
What's
Which
that?
is
Ethereum. It really is starting to look like this move to proof of stake is going to happen.
Got a bag of that too. I love
and
it.
let's just say, if this upgrade happens, the amount of Ethereum going to be burned is going to be reducing a huge amount of it off of the market. Values have the potential to absolutely skyrocket. If Ethereum ever has a chance to beat Bitcoin, this would be it.
Burns don't do nothing unless it's approximately 90% of the total token supply.
That's what they're talking about.
If they burn 90, then it might.
They're talking about a 90%.
That's a shit ton of wow.
And 90% burn still means that they're printing.
Yeah.
So that's irrelevant, right?
Yeah,
so that's we're printing less.
Yeah, they're looking at they're talking about a big burn, and they're talking about a 90% reduction in the total supply. So I don't know how that's all going to work out. I've only started researching it because it's caught my interest the other day, and I'm like, okay, this is very interesting. Plus, a lot of Ethereum is going to get just taken off of exchanges. It's going to get locked away into staking.
No. Let's simplify this because of the burn rate versus what they mint. Only 10% of new mint or 10% of what they mint will actually be minted in the future. That's it. It's not like they're actually burning supply. They're not. They're literally supplying 90% slower, which is a bitch because they're still printing. You know what I mean? I'm invested in Ethereum and Solana like crazy. So trust me, I'm riding this train to the freaking bank. But like, the whole burning thing, isn't SHIB burning, like true burning?
Slowly.
Not that I'm invested in SHIB, but isn't that like
they don't have a burn mechanism within their contract, whereas Satama does, right? Or actually any other token now does. They all have a burn mechanism built in. Shiba doesn't, but they're buying back or something and then burning them.
Oh, okay. I heard something weird about that. Didn't Ethereum just test a fork or something? I'm ignorant on the language, but did they just do something 2 or 3 days ago to move toward proof of stake?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Okay, look it up if you're interested. Not saying do it,
Yeah.
but like if you're
No, yeah,
interested.
absolutely.
'Cause I think something came up that I didn't read further into, but it was this week.
So
It was
our national snack nightmare is over.
Frito solved it with Loblaws.
After a 2-month standoff, Frito-Lay chips will once again be stocked at Loblaws shelves after two parties came to a deal over the weekend. Here's the backstory. In February, Frito-Lay, the PepsiCo-owned maker of popular snack brands such as Ruffles, Doritos, Miss Vicky's, told retailers that they were raising prices due to the unprecedented pressures from rising costs of items, including ingredients, packaging, and transportation. Loblaws pushed back, saying that they conduct a thorough review on price hikes and would deny the snack suppliers' proposed increase. This resulted in Frito-Lay cutting off Loblaws from their products, resulting in empty snack shelves at the country's largest grocer. But some Canadian companies stood to gain. In addition to increasing the supply of Loblaws in-house chip brands, the standoff created an opening for the Canadian snack suppliers to fill the gap. Richmond Hill's Neil Brothers, which make healthy and organic chip alternatives, saw orders double as Loblaws and their affiliates rushed to replace lost inventory. Now, if we zoom out, removing products from shelves over price disputes used to be considered the nuclear option for suppliers, but as inflation continues to drive up the cost of production, as shoppers become increasingly more price conscious, withholding shipments could become the norm.
I know many retailers many manufacturers are contemplating this because they get ticked off with the big dogs for not passing through or not taking their cost increases. So,
and have lumber prices taken a dip?
Haven't they slightly?
It says
West
already.
Fraser
It says
took a dip from all-time high.
Yeah, it says already choppy lumber prices fell to a 4-month low as inflations have HGTV diehards reconsidering their costly home renovations.
Going back to Ripple for a second, I went back and just looked at some of the financial institutions worldwide. There's more than 100 financial institutions that have joined the Ripple network. So CIBC, Kotak, Mahindra Bank in India. There's the Itaú Unibanco in Brazil. There's a bank in, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these, in Singapore,
worldwide. Brazil,
Canada. They're worldwide. There's 100 of them. So the thought is that once this is settled, that we'll see it won't be just retail investors. It'll be they're already partnered. There's 100 of them, and they're waiting for this to get settled. Just because remember
it's not
that
illegal to put their money into it.
Yes, because remember when Dave Love was here and he scared the bejeebies out of me. It was just before Christmas, and I was like, "Oh my God!"
It was Dave Cowan. Dave Cowan.
Pardon?
Yeah, two totally different people. Yeah, let's not confuse.
Yeah.
I love
These are
Dave
the Daves we know.
Not Dave Love. I'm sorry, Dave Love. Dave Cowan. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I don't know what time zone I'm on. I don't know where I am at. But anyways, and Dave Cowan said that there was a big thing because once the SEC acknowledges this as it gets the accreditation it needs, it can be held on the balance sheet in the bank account and on the balance sheet of institutions. That's the difference, and that's why they're saying.
No one can hear me. What about Bitcoin? Because has the SEC acknowledged Bitcoin?
No, because they're looking at that as something completely different, but they're getting rails put around that as well. Candace, you might know that better. Has there been regulatory bodies put any kind of?
I thought the SEC wasn't going to touch Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Well, we don't know that.
No, we don't. But I thought that's what I had read.
We'll see after XRP. We'll see when they're.
There's also the whole thing with Grayscale that's sort of running out because Grayscale has threatened to sue the SEC if they deny their spot Bitcoin ETF.
When did they say that? When did
That was
they?
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and the SEC has to rule on them before July. Now, the last one was Kathy Woods that they denied, and her ruling was supposed to happen by the end of June. So they got to be coming close.
Can I tell you guys something? And this is me being devil's advocate, but also trying to use a little bit of common sense here. Nancy, why would you have a spot ETF when you can't trade a spot ETF 24/7 like you can Bitcoin? Why wouldn't whales off of the exchange manipulate everybody who ever bought a spot ETF because they can't trade at night? Here, whatever your time zone is. That's a massive risk that I know you're laughing at me for it, but let's look at
listening.
Okay, but is that not a genuine risk? Like genuinely?
Yeah.
Because if you own a spot-based, this is why Gary Gensler has said futures make sense. Spot, their market's not even set up to trade 24/7 for spot. It's not possible. So if you go buy a spot ETF and you have an entire country that wants to bankrupt you in the state of war, your ETF is crushed because they did it after hours.
That's why they're letting the Canadians do
But
it
this
first.
is no. A spot ETF actually has massive, dangerous implications for those who invest in it because you don't have liquidity, and that's the only thing you guys know I've said for 2 friggin' years. Liquidity is everything for me. But am I wrong?
No.
Because no, but straight up, an ETF poses that risk. You cannot trade your ETF, despite it being in a tax advantageous account, which is a massive benefit, right? You are giving up the after hours to the, streets of Gotham. Really. That's my vibe on it. Like, Candace, what do you think about that? Because no one talks about that, but everyone wants a spot ETF, but they don't know what happens when the market shuts down after hours, 8 p.m. Eastern, and everyone goes to work day one. What do you think is going to happen worldwide? You know what I mean? Volatility. That's why I'm starting to. I'd love for you to take a total dump on what I'm saying, because I'm not saying. I'm only saying this because it's a genuine thought process I have. Because I would hate to be in an ETF if something massive happened at night, and I'm done. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like liquidations. You're not going to see a liquidation, but you're going to see depletion of wealth overnight in an ETF.
Yeah.
Because everyone else can act fast.
But the other thing too is, that same thing can happen to you holding Bitcoin. I mean, you can't control what happens.
You can sell Bitcoin at any moment in time.
But you might be.
You can, but if you're asleep and Bitcoin's starting to dump, you're not.
Sure. Yeah, sure. All I'm saying though is that at the end of the day, you're not worried about the guy who's asleep. You're worried about the actors in place on a whale market, right?
The only thing I would say to this is that if you actually had spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US, that's one of those things that will start to bring in more institutional. It will make it harder as it gets a bigger and bigger market and more people. It'll make it harder for individual whales to impact the market.
But does it make sense for the government to allow it? Why would you? That's the most adorable, cute pup I've ever seen, Tim. Damn.
Oh, my babies. Hi, Grady. Hi, Grady. Hi, Grady. Hey, listen, Rick Sanchez made a good comment there. Oh, he's giving you kisses. Oh. Okay, so
I agree with Rick. Nailed it.
Yeah, Tim, can you put up my computer died, so you're gonna have to take control.
Well, I'll read it. Rick Sanchez said Ethereum and Bitcoin are regulated as commodities. They trade like commodities, exactly. But the 24/7 nature of the trading is unlike commodities, 100%. On the CME, for example. This is the exact issue that, and again, guys, I'm only playing, hold on. We should all want the crypto and stock market ecosystem to exist as independently as possible in order to maintain the Now, I wonder if but I wonder if correlation of Bitcoin, remember we were talking about how Bitcoin's correlated to NASDAQ more than ever?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's because of the money trying to get into Bitcoin is doing it through the old system.
Yes, because they don't know how else to do it. They can't put it on their balance sheet.
So,
there's no governance yet.
Okay,
that's why we need the SEC to at least make a ruling on Ripple one way or the other, so that it will start to make a framework for all of these other cryptocurrencies. And quite frankly, I would say, here's my thing. I feel strongly that Kevin O'Leary is right on this. The regulators need to regulate and not hamper innovation. What these cryptocurrencies are all about are there, not all, but the vast majority of them are all cool innovators trying to move amazing projects forward and really try to blow the top off of the future state of our world. All that we need is some regulation so that the big money, when it comes flooding into this market, has parameters with which to report out to their stakeholders and everything else. And you think it's not correlated now? Once the regulation,
more now than ever.
Well, it's going to get worse, because once the correlation happens, and now you have Kevin O'Leary's company that owns all of these cryptocurrencies, his stock, a lot of the basis of the profit on his stocks is going to be based on his investment, his ability to choose wisely in the stock market. And he's in XRP, Solano.
He's in 20 different things. He's spread himself over.
Can I make a prediction? We're not going to have a spot ETF until you can trade stocks 24/7. Robinhood's already getting there, allowing their customers to trade from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. extended hours. They're already getting there. When you can have, no, because you can't have a spot ETF when you are easily manipulated by everyone else. It's
Ryan,
it's like they're protecting you right now, not having
Are you
it.
thinking it's
Ryan,
the Forex?
Yep.
Oh,
Ryan, why? And I honestly don't know the answer, or Ryan or Candace. Why are stocks not traded 24/7?
This is the thing, is because
No, but
hold on.
why? What's the reasoning? Why does it, now that cryptocurrency
old-
has come and showing them up saying we can do it? Why are they
It's
not doing it?
extremely old school thinking. Foreign exchange is 24/7. Crypto is 24/7. Commodities are massively extended. Now, we had the 9:30 to 4 o'clock forever. And then we had the extended hours, the after hours and the pre-market. That's 2 hours. Now we have the pre-market, which goes to 3 a.m. in the United States, okay? It's a matter of time. And you know what they're also doing, these major platforms? Well, Simple does it through that $10 sign-up fee for instant access. But level 2 trading is what the exchanges call it. So that's the after hours access. The exchanges are a business in themselves. It's not like the government runs them. Like, the exchanges make money. So they will eventually open up because it's a necessity.
You know why they don't? Because you're right. It's old school. They used to call it bankers' hours.
It's totally.
They used to have, the bank used to be open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. That was it. And the bankers themselves, because everything was a manual process, the reason that it was done like that was because they had to do opening reconciliation and they had to do closing reconciliation, and everything was a manual process.
Get this. You guys probably don't know this. The Toronto Stock Exchange charges platforms like Wealthsimple and every other one up money. You know how they were always like, oh, it's a 15-minute delay. It's because they don't pay for that pricing level. If it's instantaneous, that's another pricing level. If you get after hours, that's called level 2 trading in the States. That's another pricing level put onto a platform or a bank by the exchange, because again, that's an operating business on its own, right? Citadel comes in between the bank and the platform for settling.
But isn't that manipulating the market?
Dude, every aspect of it manipulates the market.
100%.
The fact that they don't allow 24/7 trading, okay, but only for some institutional investors, some accredited investors, and those who pay for level 2 trading or are lucky enough to be on a platform that gives it to them for free. But they manipulate all the rest of us because they're buying into stuff when we can't. That's what I'm saying. That's the major risk of a Bitcoin spot ETF, is that if our markets are not 24/7, dude, I'll tell you this. If I was a whale in China that could trade Bitcoin while your spot was asleep, while your spot ETF was asleep, why wouldn't we liquidate you every month and just keep doing it? Just literally, if we had the ability of a country, like, to just keep literally draining every dime we had, that would be some crazy espionage stuff, but that is extremely possible with a spot ETF though. I'm saying, like, when it comes to a spot ETF is so risky because if you can't sell when everyone else can, there's a problem, right? The manipulation's out of control.
Yeah, but could you put a stop loss on it?
If it's not open, no, because it will not execute during the closed hours, right?
Wow.
No, but am I wrong, guys? Like, this is the thing.
No,
It will
that's
not
right.
execute. Try to do that with a stock.
Maybe that's one of the attractions to the cryptocurrency. Maybe that's just one of the attractions.
100%, dude, because that's why Forex is attractive too. 24/7 ultimate liquidity. When you bring a spot Bitcoin ETF into a 9 to 5 market, quote unquote, like so to speak, and I know it's 9:30 to 4, you know what I mean. You bring a 24/7 market into a 9 to 5 access, those poor bastards in 9 to 5 are fucking hooped. And I mean hooped, because you're going to start seeing volatility increase like crazy, and then Bitcoin will be further drawn away from store of value. And that's another stage of hiccup that Bitcoin has to get used to. I think Gary Gensler is protecting you as a Bitcoiner.
Probably.
That's my gut.
So Rick Sanchez says level 3, bro. These dudes can see. Oh, it's gone. These dudes can see where your stop losses and limit buys are.
Mm-hmm.
It's all pricing schemes by the exchange.
Yeah.
They sell data.
They do. Everybody sells data. They sell data on everything.
Get this. Okay, get this, guys. If you want a Bloomberg terminal that gives you, updates to the second, you got to have two things. One, you got to be an accredited investor, meaning you're making $250,000 a year and you got millions in the bank. Regular people can't do it. They send you information before you'll see it on CNBC. Okay. How do you think Meet Kevin, sends a buy alert for Matterport 45 minutes before an earnings report, spikes and sells off?
Do you know, Tim?
It's not insider trading, but money buys insider information.
Yes, I agree. So you remember my friend Debbie, remember she's got that company Driven? I think that's them too. Because they're accredited investors, they know what's coming. So they're making buy and sell trades, and they share it with those that are members of their organization. So then you can know what you should be buying and when you should be buying it.
And this is the thing. The market's not manipulated in this sense because it's all legal. The problem is that the laws are screwed up because it makes it impossible for an average Joe to compete. We have to be mind readers or super skilled in order to compete with someone who's accredited and gets an information on a company through. Like, I feel gifted for instance, when I get a sponsored video. That's what accredited investors get every time. But they're only letting me know because I'm part of their marketing scheme, right? But that's what accredited investors get every time, 3 weeks, 4 weeks in advance. I'm not going to bring up companies, but a few times. And it's like, that's legal. It's disgusting. And Ken, you sent me something powerful as heck on Celsius today. I thought that was maybe the biggest news we heard. Celsius has stopped with new deposits, new accounts, in the United States from collecting rewards like BlockFi, like Ledden. No more rewards for Celsius unless you're accredited. So basically, the rich get to keep all the rewards and the bonuses, and the poor, we stay poor. Simple as that. Is that not right, Ken? You sent me that, bud.
That's what DeFi is for, baby. You got to jump into the DeFi.
No, so what do you guys think about that? Where's the Leddens of the world going? Where's the BlockFis of the world going? I'm not accredited. And now my Bitcoin or whatever might be sitting in a place that is going to cut rewards, and I have limited access.
No, but I think you said it was grandfathered, right? It's
grandfathered.
It's grandfathered, but it's a bad precedent.
It's good you got in.
It's a bad precedent, though.
It is a bad precedent.
It's not good for Bitcoin. And then we have China, who just approved today the official acceptance of cryptocurrency. No one's talking about it. Their own CBDC. You know what they called it? Official coin. Google it, guys. I'm all over this shit. What do you guys think I do all day? I'm online. So check out Official Coin, their CBDC. Coming to a town near you. Okay?
Oh, jeez.
Am I wrong?
No.
Fuck.
Not wrong.
Tim.
Candace.
Hi.
You ready?
Oh, is it? The metaverse?
It's 9:38, and poor Candace, we
Oh, shit.
the show doesn't go on without Candace.
Okay. Well, that's me.
Tim, you have to bring her up.
Metaverse.
I'm just adding my screen right now.
Eric, I miss you as a channel member, bro. I miss you, buddy.
All right. Okay, everybody. Welcome once again to our Metaverse top 10. You're going to see a lot of negatives on the cryptocurrency side. Like a lot. So we start off with Decentraland. Decentraland enters the chart again at number 10 even though they were down 14.5%. That speaks volumes. You're going to see a lot of this tonight. We'll move on to number 9. Number 9 is Cube. So Simonium Space Cubes. We've seen these guys before. They were down 4.1% over the week. Once again, these are just a cross-platform, customizable, social VR scriptable world. So a lot of the metaverse is pretty much, a lot of it's the same, but some things have very unique aspects to it. So OVR is back onto the charts, negative 3.8. We have seen these guys before, but we haven't seen a lot with them. These ones are usable with mobile devices and smart glasses, which is kind of cool. And they also have the really big staking rewards going up to 33.9%, which is pretty fantastic. Coming back to the charts at number 7 is Radio Gaga. And I want to laugh every time I hear that. I always make me think of Radio Gaga, the Queen.
Yeah.
They were down 8.2%, but still enough to get themselves into the top 10. So once again, this is, they have a Google-like Earth UI, which is really, really cool. All right, number 6, one that was on the charts last week already. They moved up from number 9, and they were down 4.6%. Our good old Tamagotchi clone Avagotchi, they moved up to 5 from 8, and they were down 5.7%. I said there were a lot of negatives. Engine actually came back onto the chart. We haven't seen them in a while. They were down 6.8%. I know that this is a fan favorite of Verena. Number 3, this is the brand new one. This is the only absolute new one this week. It's Gensho Kishi Metaverse, and they were up 11.2%. They're a free-to-play metaverse. They also have a UGC to play and a play to earn. The big difference, the free-to-play, you can go in, you can play, you can roam around, you can find NFTs and sell them on the marketplace, or you can go into the play to earn, which is where you do dungeons and you can find some of the ultra rare stuff and sell them for even more. And then they've also got the UGC, which is basically allowing you to be able to manufacture and sell your own NFTs, to also edit some of the constructions in the game and do placement of different AI characters. So kind of interesting. All right, number 2. Number 2 is Monavale. They are back again. They were up 19.6%. Once again, a lot of opportunities in here. You can stake. You can also move between Ethereum and Matic. So they have a Matic ETH bridge, which is kind of interesting. All right, number 1. This one's actually really interesting because if you remember last week, they were at number 2, the Neo credits. Last week, they were up 40 some odd percent. This week, they're up another 50%. So they're just flying. So this is the Neos metaverse. I just don't know what to say. With the way the market's been falling, these guys seem to have hit an exception for that. So let's see what they do next week. All right, let's pull up the stocks. The stocks weren't much better, but they weren't down as drastically as all of the coins. Coming in at number 7 is Equix. They were at 3 last week. They fell back a little bit. They were down 1.92%. Apple finally broke out of number 7. They moved up to number 6 while they were still down almost 1%. So it was negative 0.79%. Facebook fell from 1 to 5. They were down 3.52%.
Okay, hold on. Go back. I want to give some context to Facebook. You guys know that I'm not a Facebook fan. I'm not a Facebook pumper. But, Candace, Facebook just came out with some amazing news on their Horizons metaverse in the sandbox. Mm-hmm. They're starting to pay creators like Roblox, right? This is why I think Roblox is going to friggin' explode. So they're starting to pay creators to basically create their own world. And if there's volume traffic with respect to visitors, they get paid, right? And from Meta, I guess, they're creating their own world. So they're opening it up to creators nonstop. I think Meta, outside of Andrew's funny story about how they screwed him yesterday, I think Meta is, I think it's a unique thing that I hate Facebook, but I like the idea of the Oculus and the metaverse and stuff. I think it's cool.
Well, if you remember back when we first started doing these, one of the things I said is I thought that Facebook was just laying low with something big on the horizon. that they were just keeping it close to the vest. And this could be part of that. The whole paying to create spaces.
Quite honestly, the most creative people on the earth right now are at home and not in their office, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they open their mind, as they have, to the fact, it like Roblox again, when you have 8-year-old children creating the video game for forget their own developers, you have 8-year-olds creating what they want to play.
Would you guys like to see the Roblox played by an 8-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old?
I've watched it being played.
I have a guy who works for me. His son plays it all the time. So I asked him if he would bring his son on and let him come in and show us what is going on. Would you guys like that?
Cool.
And keep in mind though, but whatever we see with that individual, you could literally create your own world
and do your own thing.
You could,
but it just gives us enough context because I'm not in there at all. Chicken said Facebook also takes a 50% cut in its metaverse.
Yeah, I don't care about that. That's business, Chicken. That's business, dude. Quite honestly, the metaverse is new right now, and they need funds in order to grow and to provide the platform where you can even make half of 100, let's say 50%, backed on their marketing. The fact that Meta is willing to give the creator 50% when they have to create an entire new space, to me, that's mind-blowing. See, I'm on the opposite side of Chicken, I'll be honest. But anyway, that's my Meta feeling. I thought interesting news, but they're going hardcore, Candace, on the creator.
Yeah,
aspect.
absolutely. And I mean, and also just in regards to what Chicken had said, a lot of content creators pay usually 50% to the platform that they're working with. A lot of them do.
YouTube's 30. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
YouTube is 30. It's insane.
I think Twitch is 50. It's pretty darn close. So, that's not that abnormal.
He's now saying Wax P already has a community growing. Plus, there's a ton of metaverses emerging.
Okay, for sure. Now, I would ask the entire community who's heard of Wax P. That would be my rebuttal. I love you, Chicken.
All right, Candace, it's all yours again. Go.
I just can't help but wonder if this chicken's a layer. No.
Or a boiler. Layer, boiler.
All right. So in number 4, Unity is back. They were up a positive 0.42. All right. Number 3 was our Planet Labs from last week. They slipped from number 2. They were up 0.72%. I still really love the fact that this company has so many satellites and has the best Earth data out there. I still say these are guys to watch. Number 2 is Fastly. They moved up from 4. They were up 7.47%. And coming in at number 1, Cloudflare, once they moved back in, they were up 10.01%. They were pretty much the biggest movers of the week. Keep in mind, Cloudflare is all about that infrastructure to provide support for the metaverse. So we're talking about basically reducing latency by having edge servers closer to you, so you're not sending information halfway around the world to come back, because that's how you create latency. And latency can kill something like the metaverse. So yeah, that is this week. Hopefully next week we have some better numbers.
I really appreciate it, Candace. No, it's always very informative. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that for us. Really appreciate it.
Oh, actually today it wasn't so bad because there was only one brand new coin in the list, because I only had to make up one sheet.
Oh, that's awesome. So Chicken says he plays games on Wax P, so he's biased, but he believes it will do very well. That's good to know. Is it a cryptocurrency, Chicken, or is it just a game? Is there a way that is it on
created in 2017?
Yeah.
It was created in 2017. Is it a coin?
Yeah, that's when it came out. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, this was a fun chat tonight. Last week you had Tim Perry here. This week you have me here. Who's coming on next week?
I don't know about next week, but I think we have Gary, our resident cook, we're going to call him a general. I mean, he worked his way up. He forced himself there. But Gary's going to come in July. And then, and that's it. And that's it, I think. And then my parents are coming again in June. Summer in Alberta. Guys, I already told Ken, look, I'm going to let Nancy end this in 1 second, okay? When I went Okay, it was 20 degrees, all right? It's cool weather. We're driving through the mountains. I know you got here late. Sorry. Okay, so me and my mother, we're driving through the mountains. We get to Banff. I go on a gondola to the top of Sulphur Mountain. Firstly, the gondola, look, I couldn't handle it. I'm going to tell you right now. My mom had to help me out, okay? I couldn't handle it. You're in a tin can going up 8,000 feet. It's not worth it. Anyway, I got up there and I'm like, okay, it is worth it, but I need to change my underwear. So then we had lunch. Amazing. Then we climbed to the summit of Sulphur Mountain, which was another 500 feet up, a kilometer away or whatever. We climbed to this. It was like, 1, now I know that I need to stop smoking cigarettes. 2, when I got to the top of Sulphur Mountain, dude, that what I saw, man, was, I'm telling you, it like changed my freaking life. Now I'm obsessed with, because
How have you not been there up until now?
I never adventured like true Albertans do. Like it made me think, like, because I used to go to work and they'd be like, oh, I'm like, where are you going for the weekend? They're like, oh, we're going hiking in X mountain or this range. We're going whatever, right? And I'm like, holy crap, that sounds like a lot of effort. It's like, it's 45 to an hour away. I can go hiking anywhere I want. The most beautiful landscape. Bro, I'm taking advantage of this summer. Like never.
Really?
Oh, like
Really?
never before.
Are you? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Tim, now he has to endure the wrath of me.
Yeah. One of my favorite places near Calgary in the summer was there's this cave that's got like all these ice pillars in it.
I've heard of it, Candace.
Absolutely awesome.
Damn it. I want to go. I know. When my parents come back, we're going to go on missions. Also, wild horses are a thing here. I'm telling you.
Are you going to tell them about your crazy experience that what happened to you on the native land?
Okay. I just have to watch the way I describe it as compared.
Just be careful.
So we all know what reserves are like in Ontario. I grew up in Ontario. I mean, you wouldn't even tame. I don't even like using that word, but you wouldn't associate it as anything different than regular life.
It's not terrifying.
It's regular life, right? Or somewhat. I'm not going to, but anyway. So I got to this place that was, I mean, 150K away from anything. I'm in the middle of a reserve. I'm in the middle of mountains. I go there. I call it the white tax. You can call it the settler tax. You can call it the colonizer tax. I don't care. I went to the gas station and gas is $1.54 in Alberta. I got charged $1.70 something for my gas because I'm me. So 1, that pissed me off. 2, they disrespected us like crazy. And then 3, on our way out, we had someone following us literally. And I was testing this cat because I was going 120 down to 80. This guy was me, and he was in a $100,000 truck. I mean, it wasn't like some crime thing. It was like probably a band member or some concerned citizen. Fucking made sure that me and my mother left that reserve. The second we hit the boundary, they turned around. You think I'm fucking with you? Ask my mom. It was the scariest thing, dude. I'll tell you straight up. And I'm not saying it's because of the natives. I'm just saying it was like, you know how, I mean.
You're in the middle of nowhere.
We're in the middle
and you're vulnerable.
But it was like, I've never seen natives, you know, like a native on a reserve in Ontario is one thing. But they were so far away from everyone else that this was like their land. And I don't know if they were just freaking mad or what. But they let us know that it was their freaking land and followed our asses all the way out. Like my mom was tripping balls. I was tripping. That was probably the scariest experience I've had in Alberta to date, actually. That was freaking nuts. It was a
nice, funny story when you told it when.
Well, I mean, it sounds crazy now because I don't want people to think I'm talking about natives here. I'm just saying this one particular reserve, I mean... They knew their value of their land. They did. They were not happy. That's all I want to say.
Dave also said happened to me
just outside of Calgary, dude. I'm telling you straight up, dude. Okay, Candace. By the way, Mom, Canyon Creek Ice Cave. Take that down. Thank you, Candace. David, straight up, dude. It was just outside of Calgary, and it was like the scariest thing, bro. Like following our ass, charging us more. My mom's like, where's the bathroom? They're giving her shit. It's like, whoa. Like, I don't know what the hate was going on, but that was some straight up guns on the shoulder. This is my land, frontier type attitude. It was crazy. That was
45 minutes from where I live is a place called Walpole Island. You do not go there if you are white.
Why?
It's fucking racist, man.
You could disappear.
Really?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, because it's an island with a whole bunch of swamp around it and then the river. So, yeah.
Would you disappear because you'd fall into the...
No, because you're white.
You could disappear because you're white. There's a lot of
hate. There's a
a lot
of
of
hate.
stuff-
I've realized. I'm not calling them out.
With
Ken,
bikers
I know
over
Natasha
there and-
is First Nations, and I'm not calling them out, but there is resentment.
There is.
Yeah,
There is.
massive
the
resentment.
more west you go, the more the resentment is.
Holy shit! If you go further north, it's like back in
No,
the
I'm
1800s.
going south.
Good. I know. I'm happy for you.
I'm going
But if you
south.
go up to Nunavik, they welcome you. You know, so
I've heard that too.
Oh, Candace, you're on mute. Oh,
You're on mute,
still
dude.
on mute.
No, I had a friend who was on a reserve in Nova Scotia, and they used to get a whole bunch of free fish and lobster and scallops and everything as part of the treaty. And I would always just show up at the reserve on that day, and I would be leaving with a whole bunch of free stuff because they had too much that they could eat. And they'd be like, "Candace, do you want some?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, give me a couple bags of scallops."
I want no one to think that I was shit talking reserves
Yeah,
and stuff.
no.
It was not. All I'm saying is that it was just because I've gone to communities up north Saskatchewan. Doesn't matter what culture they are. When you're isolated, you have a different mentality.
Yep.
But this was another level. That's all I meant, Candace. I hope I meant no offense to anyone. I hope you guys picked up. But I was.
no, you're just explaining your experience. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
fucking nuts.
And I just gave mine just to show that, every experience is different.
I've had a
true.
million good experiences with reserves. I just mean this was my first. Me and my mom, she had my shit together when we were on their gondola. She was like, "Ryan, it's okay." I'm sitting there. She has videos that I'm begging her not to release. Okay. And she's like, "Ryan, it's okay." I'm sitting there like, "Mom, stop joking." I'm like hyperventilating. I feel like I'm going to throw up. It was the most fear sensing height I've ever seen in my entire life. She held me together. But in that one particular situation, I was looking in the rearview mirror watching this guy, and I'm like, "Yeah, let's just go. Let's go." It was crazy.
It is crazy. Anyways, thank you for that story. It's been a fun time here in Calgary. Candace, you got a bunch of stuff on your show this week and next?
Oh yeah, of course. Tomorrow I have a video dropping on covered call ETFs. So we got a good mix of Canadian and
That's a
American.
really timely topic, dude. Really timely. That's a good video. I would suggest everyone here watch it. That's a timely video.
Absolutely. And then on the weekend, this week is going to be all about, kind of a little bit of what we talked about tonight. It's all going to be about interest and inflation and how they relate.
Awesome.
That's the news this week.
That's amazing. Cool. And Ken, somebody was asking in the chat if you're going to do your live stream tomorrow night because it's a holiday on Friday. So people are wondering, is it going to be a triple decker, quadruple decker this week? What's happening?
It's probably going to be 4 shows this weekend. We'll do a Thursday night, a Friday night, Saturday afternoon. There's ETH docs launching.
Whoa, what about Saturday night?
And then Saturday night.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right.
So I'm not sure if I'm going to do the ETH docs launching or not.
Does that mean my show is the meat of your sandwich?
Cheese, egg salad, something like that, Candace.
Yeah. So I don't know. Everybody make sure their notifications are turned on. That's all I can say.
That's awesome. And Ken usually posts in Crypto Night in Canada if we are if he's going live and it's different. So anyways, Ryan, you've got your regular market close coming.
The
usual. Tim Danter, what are you doing next week?
I don't know.
Nice.
Well, don't forget Sunday you have to do some more dad joke shorts.
Dude,
Those are good.
no, what you need to do is create a playlist on your channel of your dad joke shorts so that when you find an addict, they can listen to them all in 20 minutes. Dude,
Are they
do
coming
dad
through?
jokes that have nothing to do with finance and crypto. Just ferocious dad jokes. And can you do the Zoolander look every time you finish a joke, please?
What's the
Like
Zoolander?
where you pucker your mouth. You finish a joke and you're like,
Yeah.
you do the Zoolander. Dude,
I'll tell you when I listened to that one.
died. I saw your face, bro. That made the joke for me. You did the Zoolander right after the joke. I died, bro.
Yeah, there was that one you did the other day about antidepressants. It made me snort. And then I probably watched it about 6 times until I stopped snorting. So once I stopped snorting, then I stopped watching. But
Oh, that's funny. So it's Tim, you have regular watchers. Him, and her.
That's
Anyways,
all I
no, Tim and I are taking a little road trip.
I think you're gonna have to explain to Tim that ending the show is on him now.
Oh yes, I will tell him. So Tim and I are going down. We're taking our first vacation in 2 years. We're gonna drive down to Florida.
Nice.
Him and me, and we're gonna have a fun time. So we will do Crypto Night in Canada from Vero Beach, Florida next week. So last week Kitchener for me, this week Calgary. Next week, Vero Beach. It's going to be epically fun.
and it'll be a
You're
part
not
for your
spoiled.
1
You're
year.
not spoiled at all.
What?
It's not spoiled. You're gonna be in Florida rocking. Oh, if you don't do
All
a
the
crypto night in
traveling.
Canada, don't feel bad, but I'll do one if you don't want to do one. The fact that you're gonna do a freaking show on vacation, that's dedication.
Well, you know what I was thinking? We could sit and show something different than just our cream color walls and our gold pictures, and sort of like I feel like I need to touch the mirrors, the famous mirrors back
They're
here.
famous. They're famous.
The famous mirrors. Anyway, someday, Ken, it'd be fun to do a crypto night in Canada where I'll show up and I'll sit beside you, or Tim can come down and sit beside you in your kitchen. and then when I'm up in Ottawa, I'll come and see Candace, and Candace and I can sit on the. Wow, Candace, we have to have a really cool background.
We can have any background in the world.
I thought you were going to be up. Oh no, you're not going to be in Ottawa with me.
I'm going to be in Ottawa for a golf tournament this summer, but I'm not sure what day it is yet.
Let me
What
know.
for?
Golf.
Business, Tim.
You know, the thing I don't really love to do.
Oh dear.
But
What-
I do it.
one more time, and then I draw it. What for?
What?
Business.
What you mean, like golf for?
Like your business is paying you to go play golf.
Say goodnight,
Yeah.
Dick.
Anyways, thank you everybody for coming tonight, and thank you Ryan for letting me come and hang out in your in the famous living room where it all began.
Let
And,
poor Eddie out.
Yeah, thank you, Candace, once again for your amazing metaverse, and Ken, as always, we'll
This
see you on.
has been a
on the-
fascinating stream. I've been able to look at my own reflection in his mirror the whole
I
night.
know it's the fun. He's got more things set up here. I don't know where to look. Should I look over here? Should I look up here? Anyways, thanks everybody. It's been great. Have a nice night.